Hello creators, and welcome to the Tom Kearin video Bombshell Vault, where we revisit life-changing content from deep within our video archives. What you're about to hear isn't a technique, a method, or a get-rich-quick scheme. Rather, this video exposes the lie that keeps outrageous wealth and riches just out of your reach. The false belief that what you want exists somewhere in the future and takes time, effort, persistence, and processes to manifest and experience. This video reveals why getting what you want here and now happens without any conditions whatsoever, and why what you desire was never separate from you to begin with. And the moment you stop giving linear time, power, and authority, reality responds instantly. Not because you mastered manifestation, but because you stop postponing who you are. Now, let's open the vault once again and revisit this paradigm-busting reminder that the moment you decide who you are, reality has no choice but to reflect it. Welcome back to the Tom Kearin video Bombshell Vault. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Tom Kearin channel and studios of Be Something Wonderful, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, good morning and welcome back to the Tom Kearin channel. One of you reached out to say, Tom, the more I learn about the law, talking about the law of assumption and the laws of reality creation, and the more I apply the techniques, the manifesting techniques, the worse things seem to get. He goes, now I think they're going to take my house away. My wife is divorcing me, and I lost my job. Because I don't know what else to do. And so guys, we're going to talk about this idea today and more. It's interesting because as I was reading his story, he talked a lot about applying the techniques, right? From this idea that we've got an effort to apply the law of reality creation. And it was clear to me that he wasn't recognizing himself as the source and creator of everything that he wants and desires in his life. Remember, that's where you start. That's where you begin, and that's where you end. I am the creator of my reality. I am the source of everything that I want and desire. I am that I am. And still with this idea of applying the law. And remember, all reality creation, all manifesting, is about the recognition of the reality that's already within you. The identity and version of you that already exists as everything that you want and desire. The manifested reality that already exists within you as potential. It's always that recognition, right? That's why if you are also on our other YouTube channel, the Be Something Wonderful channel, and then on this channel as well, I refer to that TV show, The Chosen, where Jesus, as your I am awareness of being, the metaphysical meaning of Jesus Christ, is at the pool of Bethesda with the paralyzed man. As the paralyzed man talks about all the things that he's trying to be healed, waiting for the waters to stir, but then seeing all these people walking over him and talking about the circumstances. And then Jesus stopping him and saying, this pool does nothing. It means nothing. You don't need the pool. You don't need anything else. You only need me. Not me as in Jesus Christ the man, right? But your own awareness of being, your own awareness of already being that person that you desire to be. That's all it is. Nothing comes in time. Nothing happens out there in the circumstances. It happens within you. That's why when I refer to the Gospel of Thomas, the lost teachings of Jesus, again, Jesus as your I am awareness, it says in these teachings that when you know yourselves, then you'll be known. In other words, you'll know yourself as the son of the living source or the living God. In other words, what does that mean? The son of existence. What is the son of God or the son of existence or the son of source? It's your I am awareness. You being aware of yourself as existence, as creation, as all there is, all there was, and all that there will ever be is within you. So they consistently get back to this message of it's already yours. So even, and I talk about on the other channel, the Be Something Wonderful channel, the story of the widow's oil. When the widow is crying out to Elijah representing your I am awareness. This is in 2 Kings 4, right? And she calls out to Elijah. Here's my NASB version of the Bible. Again, I look at this as a metaphysical text, right? And she calls out to Elijah and says, you know, my husband, your servant, is dead and the creditors are coming. What do I don't know what to do. Praying to Elijah, right? This is you crying out to your own I am awareness. And your I am awareness answers. Elijah answers, what can I do for you? And asks, what do you have in your house? Asking the widow. Remember, the widow representing you in your state of lack, in your state of separation, widowed from everything that you want and desire. Right? You've tried applying the law, right? Her husband's dead. Remember, it says it here that her husband was a faithful servant of the Lord. Feared the Lord, meaning it was in awe of the law. Followed all the law, where we can manifest some things and not manifest others. Now you've tried all that, and you're crying out and saying nothing's working, the creditors are coming. And Elijah asks, what do you have in your house? In other words, it's what you have already. Do you see this? The whole point of the ancients there was to point back to what you already have, that awareness within you. Remember, she just says, oh, I just have this jar of oil, right? This little jar of oil. That's your I am awareness of being is that power. And and we've covered this on the channel, but Elijah instructs her to start pouring out the oil. And those little drops turned into a limitless flow of oil coming from those little drops. In other words, your I am awareness has it all. It's all flowing to you and through you as you. That's why the ancients constantly pointed back to, what do you have? You already have it. In Matthew 13:12, it says this, for whoever has, to him more shall be given, and he will have an abundance. But whoever does not have, even what he has shall be taken away. What is it that you have? Your own awareness of being. It's already there. When you to the extent that you recognize yourself as source and as the creator, is the extent that you realize all these things that you want. This more wealth in all areas of your life than you can imagine. Right? Those circumstances change because you understand yourself as awareness. Right? All those circumstances are changing to who and what you're conscious of being. And as you are aware of yourself as the source, no matter what the circumstances look like, even with the divorce and the lost job and losing the house, all of those change immediately, instantly, in the recognition of yourself as source, going all in on your awareness that it's only you, right? And then in John, I've talked about John 10:10 before. I want to just touch on that. John 10:10 says this, the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came, this is Jesus, your I am awareness. I came that they may have life and have it more abundantly. The thief are those circumstances and any power that you think is outside of you, right? Those thoughts of lack, those assumptions that I'm not that person I desire to be. But your awareness of being, I come that you may have life and have it more abundantly. Over and over again, it's saying this in Scripture. And then in John 16:23, which I've talked about many times, it says, truly, truly, I say to you, if you ask the Father for anything in my name, he will give it to you. And here's the big part. Until now, you have asked for nothing in my name. Anything that you want, in other words, when the scripture talks about anything that you ask, it's that you're asking when you want and desire something. That's asking. But it's answered in the asking of it. Cause equals effect. The question equals the answer. It's already done. But up until now, you haven't asked in my name, in the awareness of already being and having those things that you want to be and have. That's what they're pointing at. That's the only thing required, is to know yourself as source. Ask in my name. In other words, what are they saying? They're not saying it necessarily the name of a man who lived 2,000 years ago. They're saying in the name of your awareness, in the name of already being that person you desire to be, of already knowing yourself as the source and creator of your own reality. But up until now, it says, you have not done this. In other words, it only matters. I love the way they worded this. Up until now, this moment's the only moment that matters. This moment changes everything. The circumstances absolutely are irrelevant. I know they seem relevant. I know you want to put your focus there. On the house, on the divorce, on the health issue, on the lost job. But remember, they don't create anything. They're not source of anything. You are, as your awareness. Up until now, this moment changes everything. You have not asked in my name, but now you can ask. And when they say, what the ancients mean is in my nature, in the nature of your own beingness, in the nature of knowing yourself as source, as a creator. When you know yourself as the creator, when you know yourself as source, all fear and all doubt become irrelevant. It doesn't mean they don't still exist as a possibility and a potential, or that those thoughts and feelings are not there. They just become irrelevant to you. You think them, you feel them, you see the circumstances, but they're irrelevant now because you know yourself as the source and creator of everything you want. I challenge you today. This is, if you want more wealth in every area of your life, in love, in health, in your appearance, in money, in things, in anything you want, in your relationships, if you want more wealth than you can imagine, step into that knowing right now that I am already that person I desire to be. That's the only thing you ever needed. That's why I love that show, The Chosen, the way they did that scene at the Pool of Bethesda, right? When Jesus says, you only need me. One of you asked me, does Jesus say that exactly in Scripture? Well, it's probably not said exactly in Scripture like that, but it doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. The understanding of all of these things, all of it, the understanding is you only need me. You only need your awareness of being. That's the message over and over again. That your awareness of already being that person you desire to be, of already having those things that you want to have, is all that matters, is all that is required. That's why all of the spiritual teachers from the beginning of time have said circumstances don't matter. They're not saying necessarily that they're not real. They're a real experience. But they're not ultimate reality. They're not real in the sense that the only thing is real is that changeless reality that you are, that I am awareness. That's why they don't matter. They're not source or cause of anything. You are. And when you step into that, you will have more wealth than you could have ever imagined. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Tom Kearin channel and studios of Be Something Wonderful, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, be sure to check out our video on the Be Something Wonderful YouTube channel that we dropped this morning. And we have a live event on the Be Something Wonderful membership channel later this month. Check that out. It has already been announced on the Be Something Wonderful channel. More coming, guys, with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude. This is Tom Kearin here and on the Tom Kearin channel in the studios of Be Something Wonderful. Until next time, we'll see you soon.